In New York City, I watch a brilliant 24-year-old economics student step onto a glittering stage to accept a major award. In the crowd is a 33-year-old billionaire CEO who owns a global corporation, and the moment their eyes meet, everything shifts. A job offer follows, then long nights of hard work, private talks, and feelings neither of them expected. But as success grows, so does pressure, office rules, public attention, and the risk of mixing love with power. Stay with the story to see how their connection is tested when their relationship starts moving from secret to spotlight. Chapter 1. The night the city noticed her. I still remember how the ballroom lights made Manhattan feel like a dream. The award ceremony was held inside a luxury hotel near Central Park, the kind of place where crystal chandeliers hang above rooms full of people who look like they never sweat that I was there because my university had nominated me for an economics prize. I told myself it was just a ceremony, just a speech, just a photo. But when my name was called and I stepped onto the stage, I felt the weight of every late-night study session and every part-time job shift that kept me afloat. When I accepted the trophy, I looked out into the crowd and saw him that he wasn't just another guest. He had the calm confidence of someone used to being listened to. Later, I learned he was the owner of one of the biggest multinational corporations in New York, the kind with offices on several continents. He was only 33, yet people around him seemed to orbit like planets around a sun. After the ceremony, during the reception, I ended up near the tall windows overlooking the city. I was trying to breathe and not spill my drink when a voice behind me said, "Congratulations. You earned that." I turned. He held out his hand, polite and steady. His eyes were sharp, but not cold. "I'm impressed," he continued. "Not just by the award, by what you wrote." I should have been nervous. Instead, I felt seen. We spoke for a few minutes about the economy, about the way real people disappear behind numbers, and about how New York can make you hungry in more ways than one. Then he said something that made my stomach flip. "Would you consider meeting with me this week?" he asked. "I'd like to talk about an opportunity." Chapter 2. The offer that changed my life. I met him in his Midtown office 2 days later. The lobby alone looked like the inside of a museum. Glass, marble, quiet money. I kept my face calm while my thoughts ran wild. He didn't waste time. He explained that his company was expanding a global finance team, and he wanted someone with strong theory who also understood real-life pressure. Someone hungry, he said, but honest. Then he offered me a job that I asked questions the way my professors taught me to, about mentorship, growth, boundaries, and expectations. I didn't want favors. I wanted a path. He listened. Like my words mattered, that a senior manager introduced herself later, efficient but kind, showing me where I'd sit and what projects I'd start on. Another executive, a protective type who stayed close to the CEO, watched me with a look that said, "Be careful." My first weeks were intense. I worked during the day, attended classes when I could, and studied at night. I was terrified of making mistakes, but I refused to shrink. One evening, the office was nearly empty. I was still at my desk, staring at a spreadsheet that felt like it was laughing at me. I heard footsteps and looked up. That he stood in the doorway, no tie, sleeves rolled, a rare sign of looseness. "You're still here," he said. "I'm not done," I replied, trying to sound steady. He walked closer, glanced at my work, and nodded once. "You're learning fast." It should have felt like a normal compliment from a boss, but the quiet in the room made it feel like something else. Like a door opening. Chapter 3. Secret dates in a city that never sleeps. It started small, so small I could pretend it wasn't happening. That a late meeting turned into a shared ride home. A conversation about market trends turned into personal stories. He told me about building his company piece by piece, about the pressure of being responsible for thousands of employees, and about how lonely it can feel to be surrounded by people who only want a piece of you. That I told him about scholarships, about my mother's sacrifices, about how I was afraid of becoming invisible in a world that rewards the loudest voices. The first date happened in Greenwich Village, in a restaurant tucked between brick buildings, dim enough that nobody looked twice. He chose a corner table. No assistants, no photographers, no headlines. "It has to stay quiet for now," he said. "Not because I'm ashamed, because I want to protect you." I didn't like the idea of secrecy, but I understood the reality. A billionaire CEO dating a student working at his company was a story the internet would chew up to Oh, we kept it private that we took late walks in Central Park where the city noise softened into distant hum. We texted more than we should have. In the office elevator, we stood too close, careful not to touch. Every glance felt like a risk. His trusted executive confronted him one day, voice low and serious. "This can turn into a disaster," he warned. "For the company, for you, for her." That night, I sat in my small apartment, surrounded by textbooks, staring at my phone. A message from him waited, asking if we could talk. I realized something then. I wasn't just falling for a powerful man. I was falling for the version of him that existed when nobody else was watching. Chapter 4. From rumors to the spotlight. The turning point came at work. Not over dinner did I had been assigned a project that mattered. A strategy presentation with real stakes. I built the model, questioned assumptions, and prepared like my future depended on it, because it did. When the day came, I stood in the boardroom with my hands steady and my heart racing. I explained my recommendations clearly, backed by data, and answered questions without flinching. For the first time, I didn't feel like the youngest person in the room. I felt like I belonged. When it ended, I saw him at the far end of the table. His expression wasn't the smooth CEO mask. He looked proud, almost moved. Later that week, rumors found us anyway. A blurry photo, a whisper online, a comment from someone who knew someone. Suddenly, the secret felt like a fragile glass ready to shatter. He called me into his office after hours. His voice was calm, but his eyes were tired. "I won't let them write the story for us," he said. "But I also won't force you into the spotlight." I surprised myself by answering quickly, "I'm done hiding." A few days later, we attended a public gala together. I wore a gown that made me feel like an adult version of myself. He wore a tuxedo, composed as ever. We walked in hand, and I felt the air change around us. Some people stared. Some smiled. Some judged. That a senior manager I respected watched from the side with a supportive look, like she was silently telling me I wasn't alone. That night, as cameras flashed, I understood the cost of loving someone powerful. But I also understood the strength that comes from choosing your own truth. Chapter 5. A question above the Manhattan skyline. The city was gold at sunset when he asked me to meet him on a rooftop. When I arrived, the wind was gentle and the skyline looked like a promise. He stood near the edge, quiet, his coat moving slightly in the breeze. For a moment, he didn't look like a billionaire CEO. He looked like a man about to risk everything. "I've built companies, signed deals, and stood in rooms full of people who wanted something from me," he said. "But with you, it's different. You challenge me. You calm me. You make me want a life that isn't only work." My throat tightened. I didn't trust myself to speak. That he stepped closer. "I love you," he said, simple and clear. "And I don't want to keep living like the best part of my life is something I have to schedule." Then he dropped to one knee. The world felt quiet, even in New York. The ring box opened, catching the last light of the day. That I thought about everything. My studies, my independence, the headlines, the power difference, the fear of losing myself. And then I thought about how he listened, how he respected my ambition, how he never asked me to be smaller. "Yes," I whispered. When he stood, his hands were steady as he held my face. The kiss we shared wasn't for cameras or gossip. It was for us, and it tasted like relief. Chapter 6. Vows, a new home, and a real future. Our wedding was elegant, but it wasn't a performance. It was a choice. That I walked down the aisle feeling like my past and future were meeting in the same moment. He waited for me with a look I will never forget, like he couldn't believe I was real. When we said our vows, the room faded. There was only his voice and mine, steady and sure. We promised partnership, honesty, and the kind of love that doesn't ask permission from fear. After the celebration, we drove through New York at night, the city glowing outside the windows. Then we arrived at his mansion, a place I used to imagine only existed in movies. The doors opened, and the space felt both grand and strangely quiet. Inside, he didn't act like a king showing off a castle. He acted like a man bringing his wife home. Later, in the warmth of the living room, we talked about my degree, my career, and our life ahead. He didn't offer to take care of me. He asked what I wanted, and how he could support it. The next morning, we stood by a large window with coffee in our hands, looking out at the city that started it all. I leaned into him, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was running, but I felt like I had arrived. If you enjoyed this New York romance story, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and give this video a like so you don't miss the next story. Also, share your thoughts in the comments and share this video with someone who loves dramatic, heartfelt romance in the big city.